Welcome back to the Comic Book ASM Artist. We're going to do our haul video here, so we're going to get right into it. Alright, first off we have the DC New Age of Heroes book Damage by Tony S. Daniel. And it really bothers me still. They're saying Dark Knight's Metal, and we haven't really seen anything from these guys for Metal, so I still don't know, even with the release of these, how they tie in. So that's kind of annoying. And then these have a really nice cover on them. This is not a gatefold. I don't know what the heck they want to call this, but really nice cover. And this one's weird. The others, when they come out, they have more of a singular image. This one is almost sequential, because you see him here. I'm assuming that's Damage turning into his character there. Damage, rather. I don't know. Oh, his real name is Elvis, I think. And then this is the bottom of that same image, and I can't really convey so I kind of get it on its side here, but see, that's the bottom, and I don't know if a giant hand is there. Seems like I'm crashing down. But one of the big reasons I got these, and I'm gonna get all of them, although this one probably interests me the most, just because I really like Tony S. Daniel's work. But on the back, there's a secondary image, and all of the #1 issues are going to connect here and make a giant poster. And I hear that it's actually done by multiple artists. So this looks like it's all just, I don't know, it could be Jim Lee here. It could be wrong. But, and then another thing too, and I bought 2 copies, which I'm sure they're counting on. Only the first print is going to have that fold-out cover. But 2, there's no perforation or any sort of sticky tack or something where you can just pull the poster off. So, but if you want to display that whole image, you're going to need to essentially pull the cover off the book. So I did reserve 2 copies of each one, so I will be able to pull the covers off of one of those copies and make it into the giant poster. But so those were just a couple nitpicks I had. The artwork looks great though, and I've been hearing good things about it. I've more or less been hearing a lot of, oh, this is DC's Hulk and stuff like that, and that's okay. I don't mind. So it looks really good. I do know in the previews book that the artist does change, I think, after 4 issues, so unfortunately for this title, he's not going to be able to stay on it. Or if he is, it's going to switch out. So if your major draw is to follow the artwork, he's going to take off after a few. Alright, the next one we have is Batman number 39. Another nice Mikael Yanin cover here. And once again, it's going back to that interior artist, I believe, from the arc before the last one. Where him and Catwoman were in the desert. I've heard mixed things about this issue. Like I say in the past, whenever I get these, I haven't read them yet, so when I show them to you, that's the first time that I'm looking at them. So, but I guess there was some backlash or controversy with it, because I know that Tom King apologized more or less on his Twitter account about it, which, that's a shame when people have to do that. They can't let the story arc play out. So he's saying, oh, I'll do better and things like that, but I don't know. He has a reason for writing what he wrote. Might not care for it, but, you gotta give him a shot. I can understand constructive criticism, but I don't know. I know instances where, there's been writers who've done things to a character and then people are sending them death threats and stuff like that. That's not okay. So I get being passionate on a book and, being frustrated when something is contradictory to the character. But, let the writer do his job, more or less. And I've got the mic facing my mouth so you can kind of hear me better. So whenever you hear the noises off screen, that's me tapping above where the mic is. Because I normally put it below, pointed at the material and not at me. So just trying to see if we can get some better audio quality out of me and then just add to it from the top, which I'm sure it is. I've got a shotgun mic, so whatever it's aimed at, it picks up the best. So next we have Nightwing number 37. It's a beautiful cover. I really like Nightwing just in general. I've always had a spot in my heart for Dick Grayson, And the story's pretty interesting right now. Still a lot of things are unfolding with it. It's involving these casino chips here. More or less the people who are killing these other people, they've been found with this chip on them. So they've more or less been controlled, or I don't know if brainwashed is the right word, but something happens to them where when they see the guy and get the chip, then they more or less do his bidding. So it's interesting. But I think the major thing I'm glad about is the fact that, Nightwing's back in his original, well, not original blue, but, he's not in the red and black costume that they gave him for New 52. The blue suits him much better, Alright, the next one we have is Superman number 39. Nice little Chris Byrne cover here. I'm probably going to get him to sign this one when I see him. The other cover was done by John Boy, and the way I decided for this cover was, well, I know John Boy is not going to be at the con, so I'll bring this one for old Chris Byrne. So I really do like this cover, so the Goodnight Moon on there. And I've been hearing a lot of good things about this issue too. So I'm not exactly sure what happens in it, but I do know that people have been responding very positively. Wondering who the art is on it today. Let me look if I can. I see it says Kitson down there, and I'm not sure I know who that is. So, here we go. Yeah, that's who that, Barry Kitson. I've heard the name, but I don't know if I've ever really put two and two together on it, unfortunately. Pretty sure he's been around a while. That sounds like a known name, or at least one that's been around a while. It's so hard, you know, and I've actually started to do the 100 Days of Comics challenge, where more or less you set aside, and this is for people who are really busy or are just having a difficulty getting started. You set aside at least 30 minutes every day, and you work on your comic you're making, or your whatever, you know, whatever you're having difficulty trying to make because of time constraints. Like if you work a lot, or you have kids, or tons of things. Like I have both of those things I mentioned, plus more stuff. So it is it's a way to hold you accountable. It is a Facebook group, and actually they've had so many people in flux. I saw a video, and then that's where I started to sign up. But they've had so many people that they're actually going to close it on Monday. So if you want to get in on it, you got to do it sooner rather than later. So, and I think the group is just called The Hundreds or something like that. Then the group isn't called 100 Days of Comics. It's something weird. I think it's The Hundreds, and then there's an E at the end of it. But if you YouTube The 100 Days of Comics, you'll probably find artists, and I recommend you to watch them, obviously, to support the group. And a lot of them are doing like video journals and stuff. For me, like, I really struggle with the perfection side of it, so my pages are not anywhere close to where I would say public viewing at this time. Like, I think I need to do a refresher on some drawing, some education on it before I really feel confident. Right now I've got 3 pages under my belt, and they're okay, but I know they could be better. So, and there's always that piece that's frustrating, you know, because I always try to produce the best work. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. I want to show you this book, though. Action Comics number 996. Another Win cover here. Looks like Will Konrad is the guy in the art today. This is a double shot here. Yeah, they've Booster Gold and Superman have come back to Earth now, and I think it's the year 2048, if I remember. And they have discovered that Zod has taken things over, so this has to do with time has been messed up, because somehow Superman got to visit Krypton before its destruction, and just kind of threw a wrench in things. So the history of Krypton is not what it was now, so things are slightly messed up. But yeah, as I was saying with that 100 days thing, like the pages where I'm at right now, they're definitely not public quality, but in the group they do want you to at least take a picture every day to show what you've done. So I've done that, and you know, like I said, I'm not at a place where I feel confident with them, ready to share them. I have to relearn a lot of things like pertaining to anatomy and perspective and just drawing stuff in general. I find when I see an image, it goes a lot easier for me to copy from that image than to pull it from my head. And then I'm dealing with composition, you know, trying to make interesting pictures and, you know, having it be where everything doesn't look static. So that's what I'm struggling with, but I'm not going to give up on it because, you know, I've wanted to make and publish a book for as long as I can remember. I wanted to be a cartoonist for the longest time when I was a kid and stuff, before there were certain things in my life that happened that made me switch gears from art school. And, you know, I don't want to give up on the dream of creating my own books. Like, it's a lot of work, and it's hard, and it's definitely taxing. But I'm just going to keep growing. I'm not going to get frustrated with it. Put in at least that 30 minutes each day and do the best I can do. So I do want to throw this in here too, just real quick, rather than tack it on the end. I won a little contest they had over at the Wicked Comics YouTube channel. You just put in Wicked Comics, or you can find them online. It's wicked-comics.com. And I was able to get a signed Clown Man card from him. I'm blanking on the illustrator's name, unfortunately, but I just wanted to give him a nice little shout out here, and go check out his channel. He is producing content regularly, and he's got a couple books out. This one is called Clown Man, and it's actually about, this guy is actually a hero. So, and he said he wanted to do a clown because it's not something, you know, clowns are typically villains, you know, with the Joker and things like that. So he wanted to see a clown done as a hero instead of a villain. So that's why he went that route. Once again, thank you, Wicked Comics. Go check him out. Give his channel some love. Next we have Detective Comics, number 973. Some more Clayface chaos going on. I'm just really hoping that this arc doesn't undo the progress that Clayface has made. Like I said, I like him a lot as a character. And he's always just, you know, he's got a lot of tragedy attached to him. He's done a lot of bad things, but he's trying to make up for it, and now he's more or less been brainwashed. Look at this picture, wow. Looks like Jesus Marino is doing the pencils. Some really nice stuff here. Like I said, I hope that he snaps out of it, because I like Clayface as a hero, so. I do want to encourage you guys and remind you I will have links down below this video as well as a clickable at the end and in the corner. I would recommend clicking on it at the end though, or at least after the comic haul portion. I will do some focused sounds in a while after I've shown everything off. But I want to encourage you, I do have a 200 subscriber contest up right now, and the prize is 100 mystery comics. They're not like 9.8 graded books or anything, but you know, they're good copies. They're not trashed. But my comic shop, basically, they make mystery boxes of comics. And there'll be, you know, quite a few like vintage ones. There'll be some newer ones in there. I've gotten a couple in the past, and I've given them to my kids and stuff, and they really enjoy them. So it's just nice to be introduced to different things with the box. So they really have a good variety in them. So it's something you might not typically pick up, but it's just a nice little nod for you guys to say thank you for getting my channel to 200. So we have that going, and then I will be doing, if we can get to 1,000 people, then I will add 5 custom signed books from Emerald City guests for you all. So that not meaning personalized unless you want them to be, but meaning that I will announce the winner. I think it's on the 21st of January. It'll tell you, oh, not January, but February. And it'll tell you on the video when it ends, but whatever. I think it's the 21st of February. And you're basically going to want to, the winner on there, if we get to 1,000 subscribers, is going to get those 5 bonus books as well. And you go on Emerald City Comic Con's website, you check out the artists and writers, you know, the artist alley and guests like that, not the celebrities, please, but, you know, the artists and the guests, or the writers, and you just go on there and you pick out 5 of those guys and say, hey, I want my book signed by these guys. So check out that video and do the things it's got for you to ask on there, which is like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. And you can share any of these videos, really, because the point of sharing is to raise awareness for the channel so we can get to 1,000, so we can unlock those 5 signatures for you all. And as the channel grows, I'm going to be able to do more cool giveaways. So, and I mean, there's part of it where, you know, I'm trying to grow the channel, make it bigger, where I can do more things. So, but going over there, best of luck to you all. And also to make sure, you have to make sure to do all 4. So I've noticed that there's more likes than there are comments and things like that. So if you have already liked and all that, make sure you're sharing, because the comments is where I'm pulling the names to mix them all up in a drawing and pull one out. I'm gonna do it from the comments. I cannot see whether you've shared it or liked it. It doesn't tell me that information, but I'm trusting you all to do it, and hoping that your sharing and stuff like that will generate more activity on it, which will cause more people to see it. So, but best of luck to you all. Oh, I didn't show you the inside of this one, did I? That's a really beautiful cover, though. Always liked Starfire. Let me show you some interiors. Oh. Like Tom Derenek is the penciler this time. And the book is an okay book. It's not really one that I'm super crazy over. Oddly enough, the reason why I pick it up is for mainly for Damien. I used to hate the character, and he's really grown on me. So I pick it up for him, and And then, Superman's son got added to the mix for some of it. He's not a member of the team. Like, he's kind of in the middle of it, like he'll show up sometimes. But I really get the book for them, so it's always hard for me, even with like team books like Justice League and stuff like that. It's hard for me to get into them because, each character is shuffled, I like a nice focused story, where that's like everyone gets watered down a bit. And there's definitely a craft to it, so I'm not trying to put down those that are writing it, but it's hard to balance all the characters and give everyone their spot, But if you like the guys, then you can always pick up a solo book. I don't know of many of the team books where they aren't comprised of people who already have their own book. Got a Super Sons number 12. And I didn't know the previous issue. I missed out on the Win cover on it, but they actually link. There's Damian on this side, and then Superboy's on the other side here. So I put that in my box for next time. So this is the Super Sons of Tomorrow conclusion, which has been pretty bizarre. I don't want to spoil anything for you all, so I'm not really going to talk much about the plot. Tyler Kirkham is doing the art here. But I do hope that when I do these videos, you're seeing some of this content and it's inspiring you to go pick up some books. Whether it's the ones I'm showing you here in the channel or different ones, because it's all about keeping our local shops in business, It might be hard to be financially supportive, I get that. But, popping in, getting a book or two, like, there's nothing wrong with that either. Everyone's got a couple bucks laying around, I know the industry makes it really hard with all their crossovers and stuff, but you can always try to at least pick one book with one character. If you're not sure where to start, just think about it a minute. If there's a character, whether in the cartoon or in the movies that is really interest you. Granted, they might not be 100% the same in the books, but it's a nice starting point, so, but I always recommend. Or you could just find a totally random story, something totally different, pick up an independent book, and those are usually kind of easy to hop on, because they're usually contained in about 6 issues, or, they break them up where they will have 6 issues and then a couple month break, so I always want to encourage you guys with that. Next we have Batwoman number 11. Really like this cover here. Old Professor Pig. It's always a real creep. Yeah, I think the book has suddenly stepped it up. I don't know if maybe the sales were waning a bit. So they made it a little more intense with some better artwork, maybe. I'm not sure. There was a period in the beginning where they had Steve Epting was on it, and I loved it. And that was my initial response for getting it, because I'm a huge Epting fan. His work on Captain America is some of the best work that character has ever seen. So for me, whenever I see him on something, I usually get pretty excited. And he's not on books for a long period anymore, so he was on it for maybe about 3 or 4 issues, and then they switched. And when they switched, I didn't really care for that artist, unfortunately, which, it's my problem. It's not anyone else's, but so I just kind of detached a little bit from the book. But the previous arc was really good, and this is looking good too, so let's stick with it. And then also, all the ones that are $3.99 like this, they do have a digital copy with them. So, as do Marvel's $3.99, so. Alright, next we have the Turtles Meet Batman 2 event. And I'm really happy. My shop has so far held every Eastman cover for me. So I've not missed out on a single one. I don't know if they just made this run easier to obtain, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm just glad that I'm getting all these Eastman covers. Since I'm a big Eastman fan, I'm always excited when an original creator is still involved with the process of his book, you know. That's a great thing to see, so anytime I can support that, I definitely will, you know. I wish this guy would do more books, too. He's been doing a lot of covers. He did, like, a He-Man book for IDW, I think, or at least the covers for it, like a He-Man G.I. Joe crossover or something. I can't remember, but his stuff is really great. I can't recommend him enough. Freddie Williams II. And he does a hybrid workflow where some of it is original, like on the page, and then he scans it in and tools with it, and then I think he prints it off and then he inks it. Traditionally, if I remember. I could be wrong, and he may have changed that since. But he definitely has a very unique style. And I want to see him on more stuff. There was a period back in the day he was doing Robin. I mean, his style has changed. I think it has improved, and I'm sure he has too. It has more of a painted feel to it. So, and I kind of want to give an alternative take to my books when I make them. I want to heavily rely on the Prismacolor pencils. And I don't know whether that'll translate correctly or not to print, but that's my vision. I want to make a really bright, optimistic book that any age can latch on to. So we have the last part of the Nightwing, the New Order. It takes place way in the future with Nightwing and his kid, and all the superheroes have been outlawed and detained or killed, and just really interesting book here. And the previous issue, who's on this? Trevor McCarthy is on it. Previous issue, Superman showed up, which made sense, like a hard way to detain Superman, so I'm glad they kept him in. Rather than just, oh, he was killed by kryptonite, you know, which is pretty much the standard way people write that to go. So I'm glad they went a different direction. So yeah, I'm going to be doing more reading videos and things like that as well. I don't know if you guys saw, I did a reading of the Bat manga book earlier this week, so look forward to more stuff like that. I'm doing the traditional top-down approach to the reading. I just have the book in front of the camera and I'm reading it for you all as best as I can, where you can all clearly see the images. So I do encourage you to check those out. If you have a suggestion of something you want to see me read, drop it in the comments. The Doomsday Clock number 3. I'm glad I got this cover too. The other cover had the shattered bottle from when the comedian got killed previously. So And they really didn't market those. I mean, they showed like promotional material for the books, like in the ads for the comics themselves, but as far as like the previews, they weren't really talking about each cover you could, set aside. So I'm glad I was able to get this cover, because this was one I really wanted. And then on the number 2, I got the Lex Luthor one. So, but they did just switch the scheduling on this. This is actually going to be a bi-monthly book now, and the reasoning behind it was the artist. I want to say, let's see, who's the artist? Probably all the way at the end. Yeah, I'm gonna take it off camera here. I'm blanking on the artist. I'm sorry, guys, but basically he didn't want to have the book rushed, and his work takes a while. It has a lot of, fine line work and stuff like that. And rather than split the consistency of the artwork by sharing the story with another artist, he wants to produce it bi-monthly so he can make the story where it's all uniform, which I can appreciate. Some people might say that's ego or whatever, but the thing of it is they're really trying to recreate the look and the feel of the original, with the paneling structure and the inserts and all that. Like, there, it's in the back here. Gary Frank, that's who I thought it was. But, yeah, so they're really trying to achieve that traditional feel to it where it's consistent. You can't switch artists, like just throw another big name in there, and it just wouldn't work, And granted, we get it every month, but I'd rather have a book stay consistent. And I think that in general, like, I know the companies are worried about turning a profit and stuff like that, and it's definitely, there's fewer people reading books now, unfortunately, than there were. So they're having to deal with that piece, so they're trying to get the books out quicker, so that means trading off artists. But I would rather have a book be bi-monthly or whatever that schedule is, to where they can keep an artist on a book rather than trade off, especially if it's like mid-arc. I've seen times where it's like you'll have the trade of the story and it'll switch artists in the trade. Like, I get switching after like 5 issues or something, but not right in the middle of the story, So I appreciate that he did that. Alright, that's the end of all the books here. I do thank you for watching. Once again, I want to remind you to check out the contest. Either click in the corner here or click down below for the link there. Do everything it says in the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Pass it on. Let's grow this channel. Let's get those signatures unlocked, and the more people we have on this channel, the more great things I can provide, whether it's content or giveaways and stuff like that. I really want to make this be a space where you can come and discuss, and I mean, everyone who's interacted with me knows, like, I'm usually very fast to respond to comments and questions and things like that. I love it. I love having you all to talk to and see, every day. So I appreciate your support so much. And now I'm going to be doing some focused sound for those of you who have come for ASMR. So thank you so much, guys. Have a good night or day. all have a good night. Thanks. Bye-bye.